What's up guys, Sean here, and today we're going to talk about these MAGA kids. So as many of you already know, over the weekend, a very short video was put out online, supposedly of a young white Catholic school student wearing a MAGA hat, mocking a Native American. This completely out of context, deceptively edited video completely blew up online, and it wasn't just the usual suspects like Shaun King that were promoting this racial hoax. Mainstream celebrities were calling for the doxing and lifetime punishment of these children based on a video clip of one of them looking at a Native American. By now, a lot of you have probably seen the other videos and additional context that proves that these kids did nothing wrong. They didn't try to intimidate this Native American. None of them chanted "build the wall." Nobody has produced any footage proving that, even though it was originally alleged.
We are hearing from a Native American elder and Vietnam War veteran speaking to CNN after a disturbing viral video shows a group of teens harassing and mocking him in the nation's capital. Here's the video sparking outrage on social media right now.
In fact, these kids actually had racial slurs thrown at them repeatedly by a group called the Black Israelites and one of the Native Americans. And no video has been produced to this day, despite hours of coverage, of any of the kids saying anything racial at the Native Americans or the Black Israelite.
And this was on Friday on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial when he saw a clash erupting between a group of teenage students and 4 African-American young men preaching about the Bible and oppression.
A bunch of incest babies. A bunch of babies made out of incest.
4 African-American young men preaching about the Bible and oppression.
Let's make America great again. A bunch of child molesting.
That's right.
4 African-American young men preaching about the Bible and oppression.
Rid of that damn lice on your back. Get rid of lice. Get rid of lice season. Goddamn dog.
4 African-American young men preaching about the Bible and oppression.
Hey, do y'all understand who the real caveman is now? You understand who the real caveman is now?
In fact, the Black Israelites are caught on video throwing racial epithets both at the kids and at the Native Americans, calling them demons.
A bunch of demons. Always talking out their ass. Uncle Tomahawk.
While we now know that the kids did absolutely nothing wrong, that their chanting was not meant to mock the Native American, you can see clearly on the video that they were doing their school chants before the Native American even approached them.
That's right. Here come Gad. Here come Gad. Here come Gad.
And in fact, these kids are so innocent that when they saw the Native American approaching with a drum, they immediately started clapping along to his beat because their first assumption was not that this person that looks different than them is an enemy. Their first assumption was because they were chanting, this guy came with the drum to join them. And it was going to be a nice moment of cultural exchange, and it was going to be wonderful. Of course, now it seems so obvious that the racist, lying, hateful media would take this out of context in order to smear these children. But in that moment, the kids were totally on board with this guy joining in. Now, while it is important to provide extra context, correct the record, show with facts, evidence, and videotape that these kids did absolutely nothing wrong.
When I was there and I was standing there and I seen that group of people in front of me and I seen the angry faces and all of that, I realized I had put myself in a really dangerous situation. You know, it's like, here's a group of people who were angry at somebody else, and I put myself in front of that, and all of a sudden I'm the one who's all that anger and all that wanting to have the freedom to just rip me apart. You know, that was scary. And that massive groups of people started separating and separating and moving aside to allow me to move out of the way or to proceed. This young fella put himself in front of me and wouldn't move. And so I could, if I took another step, I would be putting my person into his presence, into his space, and I would have touched him. And that would have been the thing that the group of people would have needed to spring on me.
Go back to Europe where you came from. This is not your land. No, it's not. You've been here 2-3 generations compared to us. We've been here a million years. So get the out of my face with that BS theory. BS theory. It's not bull. It's proven, man. Come on, stop it. It is proven. You just want to believe what you want to believe.
Now, while I do believe that correcting the record is extremely important, and I commend people who got the story wrong and went back and admitted that they got it wrong and told the real story, like Philip DeFranco. However, one of the things that's being ignored is the moral implications of this story being spread in the manner that it did and the reaction of this story. What if what we saw in the original video was the only thing we got to see of this instance? What if all the evidence showing the media to be vicious, racist liars never came to light? Is this video sufficient in and of itself to ruin these children's lives?
Steps of the Lincoln Memorial when he saw a clash erupting.
That kid is 15 years old and he had his face thrown all over the internet, juxtaposed to segregationists of the past. Celebrities and activists with millions of followers were attacking him and his family and the school that he went to. They called for violence against him and his family, the release of his personal information. His address was put out online. His family was harassed. And his brother, who looks like him because he's his brother, was harassed in his place. People dug into this child's life and found out he wanted to be an aspiring chef, so they decided to call culinary schools across the country to tell the culinary schools that this kid was a vicious anti-Native American racist. In what world is that justified? In what world does this kid looking at a Native American justify any of that action? This is not just a story of media malfeasance. This is not just a story of people lying to promote racial division, which has become a damn industry in this country. This is a story of people projecting their hatred, trying to personify their hatred in a child and the implications of that.
They were boys!
The reality is that first individual video without any additional context doesn't justify 1/1000th of the reaction that was given. In the worst case scenario where we never got any additional videos, it should still be reported as a he said, she said, because again, there's nothing on the video that shows racial hatred. It's just a kid awkwardly looking at a Native American who's drumming inches away from his face. There are no chants to build the wall. There are no racial epithets being thrown in that video. But what happened here is a vicious, hateful mob decided to personify their hatred in a child. They literally deemed this kid the face of the white supremacist patriarchy. And when you allow yourself to be corrupted by ideology like that, when you allow yourself to not see a person, not see a human, not see a child, but instead just see a stand-in for something that you viciously hate and want to destroy, that's where you get the moral justification to dox this kid. That's where you get the moral justification to try and ruin a child's life, to attack his family, to attack his school. This is a perfect example of the inherent immorality of identity politics, because when you don't see people as humans, when you don't see them as individuals, just stand-ins for ideologies that you don't like, or stand-ins for groups that you don't like, that's where you get the justification to do this to a child. The fact that this story turned out to be a complete fabrication, a lie, a misrepresentation of what happened is secondary, because even if it were true, even if the worst case scenario of this story were true, it does not justify the behavior that we saw inflicted on these children.
They were boys!
There's a reason that you'll seldom see a story on my channel about the transgender who freaked out at a GameStop, or see me do a video about the guy who roundhouse kicked a pro-life demonstrator. And that's because I don't like taking everyday weirdos and random citizens who never really chose to be in the public eye and making them symbols of my opposition. I'd much rather go after established outlets and people who put themselves on the line for their ideology, because I think that's more representative of the ideology, rather than personify my opposition in the most uncharitable way possible. Anyway, that's all I really have for you guys today. I hope that you guys will accept the apologies of people who got the story wrong, whether they be weak conservatives or overzealous leftists. Feel free to shame anybody who won't retract the story, who's doubling down against these kids, still digging into these kids, and won't admit that they were wrong. But if somebody says they made a mistake, take them at their word. I'm gonna link everything I can find in the description box down below. This has been me talking about the MAGA kid controversy. Till next time.